This video is rated TV-16, has some harsh language which may not be appropriate for younger audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. Alright, Heavy Metal Explosion coming at you with another figure discussion. This is my 2 cents worth. And what we have here is Bloodshot. Looking at the package, I think, well, this is my first McFarlane Toys action figure. Something that I haven't collected in many years, not since they had the typical kind of 5 points of articulation, something like that. But this is gonna be really new for me, and I don't really know if I'm gonna like it or not, to be honest. So what we got here is your typical window box type, I guess, display, what you find in any store. Well, so turning this box around, we've got a side view which has an okay picture of Mr. Diesel himself. It's kind of I don't know, kind of a picture, photograph, and then art. Then you have the same or similar style picture up in the right hand corner and picture of the action figure, and on the side pretty much the same thing. On the top you have an open window, on the bottom you have stupid stuff. And with that being said, I mean, it's pretty cool, and every once in a while you get a decent, what looks like a decent likeness of Vin Diesel himself. So now we did a whole jump scene to the accessories here, and with that being said, here we go with his machine gun, and it's got a nice dry brush across it. It's out of scene, there we go. Big dumb hands just, and the camera, I don't know what I'm doing here. So here we go. Like I said, it's a nice dry brush. Yeah, my camera doesn't want to focus. Great sculpt work. McFarlane Toys never deviates from that. They have some of the most beautiful sculpting in toys. You see the little red dot there, along with the dry brush and the out of focus machine gun here. And this knife here, this is some more great dry brushing on there. And the handle is like a bronze style, supposed to, I guess, be leather wrapped in bronze coloring. So yeah, it's got some silver to it on the blade there. I mean, it's pretty flexible plastic, and it's a decent sculpt, really. It's a pretty cool sculpt. It's just, you know, with a softer plastic you got to deal with some of that warping. So yeah. And we have what seems to be an out of focus Desert Eagle. There we go. Big fat hands. Come on, focus in. There we go. There we go. Stupid camera. Um, and I mean, the sculpt work is great, all the way down to the little divot at the end of the barrel. And we do have two. uh, Something I haven't seen in a while is stands for your action figures. That's neat. It's pretty cool. Uh, as you see in the background, I've got a ruler in order to get a better idea of how tall some of these figures are. Uh, yeah, I don't know. The stand didn't seem to work too well on my copy, but if you look, I mean, that head sculpt there looks almost just like Vin Diesel. Jeez almighty. I mean, almost just like it. Now, what we got here is uh, the figure is somewhere around 7.5 inches tall. Yeah, old body shot in the typical. Let's roll this camera up. Uh, it looks like just under 7 3/4, but obviously, if you scroll your camera up to where the lens of the camera actually hits the top of the head, you'll see height differences, the change in height. I'm going to actually, as you see what I'm demonstrating here, so I'm going to shoot for about 7.5 inches is how tall he is. Which I guess is a good height. I'm not really sure. Oh, again, you see the likeness in that face sculpt. It's just uncanny. Uh, and we're going to see what we're going to do here. We're going to scroll down or pan down, I guess is what it's called. And there we go. Yeah, leave a comment if you have any suggestions up there. I'm gonna leave some, whatever they're called, cards and whatnot, in order for you to give me a little more information. Interact with me. Let's talk about toys, action figures. Son of a gun. Uh, I think somewhere towards the end of this, I wind up playing with the figure. And if you could hear me when I first did this video, but the sound was horrible, so I'm having to do a overlap with new recording, and I just raised all kinds of hell about just playing with the figure and doing some shooting and cussing, seeing how it's an R-rated movie. I figure I just make this an R-rated video. So, but I might stray from that. I don't know yet. I might deviate. So, we're going to speed this along and do a little jump. So hold tight. As I said, we're back and we're going to get into a little more of my big fat hands, talking about this figure that, like I said, I had a horrible time with this, trying to get this guy to stand on his little foot peg platform thing, and I just did. There we go. Son of a bitch. I'm sure that's what I said when I couldn't get him to stand up. And in my little photo booth here, uh, but messing around with this guy, looking at uh, the head sculpt and just the paint apps and everything. One of the biggest things is that, like I said, McFarlane has some great sculpt work, has some great paint apps. Uh, I think this is new territory for him. I don't know all of his all of his how much stuff he has his hands in when it comes to the properties and everything. Uh, so I'm just showing the paint apps on the eyes and the shirt there. But I mean, you look at that from different positions. I mean, it's just remarkable how he looks just like Vin Diesel. And getting on here, you'll see. There we go. Shine a little light on the subject here. But you'll see how, like, once you get into the pants, the shirt really doesn't show a whole lot. But once you get into the pants, you see all the details and the paint and the weathering. But again, I don't know how many properties he's in, but uh, going from five, maybe a hidden uh, leg cut on here, thigh cut, swivel, something to that effect. But pretty much McFarlane just stayed with a static pose and um, shoulder movement and some hip movements. But because the legs were splayed out in some fashion, you know, there wasn't a whole lot of usable articulation, I guess is the word I'm looking for. And now, I mean, it's nice. It's reminds me a lot of the Toy Biz Marvel Legends, just not as, I guess, refined as the Marvel Legends. And you see there was some toe tilt or some toe action there, a little toe up. Toe up from the flow up. No shit. Anyway, uh, yeah, I dwelled on this on the sculpt work on the legs, for a long time, on the boots and everything. But the lower half just has some uh, remarkable sculpt work. The head sculpt is uncanny. Now, you see, he looks up right far, and he can look down pretty good. Um, I couldn't tell, where's all the uh, pivot points was on the head, but you got the arm that goes out way far. Doo doo doo. Doo doo doo. And I swore up and down I was going to break this figure. The joints on him are so stiff. And you can't get the... I mean, he's not that big. In real life, Vin Diesel is not that big. I mean, they're trying to... This is trying to make it seem like he's like, The Rock big. And I think I was making some jokes like, I'm big as you, badass too, Rock. But I told you I was I was playing with this guy in here. He's really posable for the posability that he has, with the exception for those arms getting into a more relaxed position. He has some uh, a great diaphragm movement. I mean, he looks up, bends up, and then bends down. I mean, he's great articulation, except for those damn shoulders. I just do not like those shoulders. As you can see, I'm working on breaking this son of a gun. Bending them over. I gotta puke. My neck. So I wasn't sure. I might have been talking about a waist swivel that he may or may not have had. And he gets out pretty good. His leg splays out pretty well. And they go out fairly far. I mean, not too terrible. And running across the screen like a crazy person. Looking in on the joint there. And I don't know how much I like this. I'd rather have the T-joint like the Marvel Legends. He gets good bend movement, and I think, does he do it? No, he just doesn't. Does not get it. Robo, he does not get it. Sorry, bud. He does not kick his own ass. Although you can break that leg off, that foot off. It's one hell of a little peg sticking in that boot. Damn. But as you see, he's got a boot swivel. I keep wanting to break his foot off. And it goes down fairly good and up a little bit, and then that toe, it's like, oh no, it broke my fucking toes. Yeah, I did the old. Yeah, boy, golly. I had fun making this video. I'm sorry that y'all didn't get the full scope of what all I was saying when I was joking around and making the little cracks and puns and all that. I do apologize. I wish I could have held on to the actual audio to this, but there was so much static. I was using a different mic and it just had so much static. So there's some, I think there was some thigh movement, but not a whole lot. I think that's still in the hip joints. But yeah, so I'm gonna. There we go. I got him to actually do something. Let's stand on that foot peg. So now I'm going to start playing around with the accessories. And he has a good pistol holding deal, and he's going to shoot stuff and talk a bunch of crap, which I don't even remember what all I said on this thing. It's been a hot second, because when I got this figure, I jumped right into the camera booth and I started recording. I was like, yes, Bloodshot. I love that comic book, by the way. When it was back in the 90s when it first came out, and I tried my damnedest to get all the back issues. Now, these hands, they're tight. They really are tight. And I'm struggling to get this knife in his hand, but once I get it there is no letting go. I mean, he's got a death grip on it. And he gets some great... As you can see, he's just swashbuckling. But he gets some great poses. And that's one thing that I think McFarlane is working towards, is being able to get great poses, but also trying to keep the sculpt from looking horrible. And I think I was talking here about how he needed a sheath for his knife, but as big as it is, you know, where are you going to put it? You know, you're going to put it in back. You know, it's probably one of those things that would have to be slung over the shoulder. And is it a knife or is it a sword? You know, do you call it a sheath or do you call it a scabbard? I mean, I got into it. I do apologize, guys. Like I said, I got allergies and so I'm also working on a couple other videos, and they'll be later on. One will be a 4-inch G.I. Joe figure, so be on the lookout after this one's post. Be on the lookout for that one, and then I finally got my hands on a Mandalorian figure. Yeah, so who knows? He might be shooting at the Mandalorian. Mandalorian has to come in there and kick his ass. But you'll see here that again he gets some good poses in with the rifle, and it looks good. You know, you've got the at rest style. I mean, all it needs is a strap to go over the freaking body so it look authentic. I mean, really. Now, I did struggle getting this guy together here, but to look at this and see the positioning of the rifle, and you know, he looks good. He does. I've got, if I have anything to complain about, I'll complain that the toe joint is a little loose. The arms, son of a bitch. I'm sure that's what I said. But the toe joints are a little loose, and the hands are a beast to get weapons in them. And that's a good thing, that because you know they won't just dangle and fall out. I mean, that's nice. And see, I was talking about having it on the back. You know, that's one thing I think they should have done, was gave him a sheath for his freaking sword there. And I mean, he just looks like he's trying to buck up. Buck up to who? I mean, really? Don't make me get a rock figure out here. Although I think any of the rock figures, they're going to be all 6-inch, so he's going to dwarf them by 1.5 inches. So yeah, I'm going to work my way on out of here. With all that being said, like, subscribe, leave a comment below, and that's my 2 cents worth. Until next time.